Yo, 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 yo. Welcome to the All Facts No Slack Saints podcast. It's your boy Kevin coming with you today with a very, very late, I know the day before the next game, very late post game Saints versus Tampa Bay thoughts, along with what I liked, what I didn't like, and also like a little bit of preview, pregame of what I feel like we need to do for tomorrow and what we should try to do going forward for a successful season in the more fluid offense, which we know has kind of been the problem for the wouldn't really say problem, but was really stopping from complete dominance, so far. So pretty much just get to it, man. We saw what happened. It was 20-10. Disappointing loss. Well, not so disappointing. You kind of want that win for the first game back at home, but it wasn't so much for the loss. You know what I'm saying? Because Tampa Bay has a very good defense, and uh, and the game was pretty much played how it was supposed to be played all the way up into the fourth quarter. So let's just kind of get into it. Like I said, let's get the offense has been kind of like struggling and trying to get their stride and like get that fluidity and get that, you know what I'm saying, just that identity. And we have these great receivers with Michael, Jarvis, and Chris, but it's almost like we're forgetting that we are pretty much a run first team now. We have actually very good running backs, and I was happy to see what we had in the running game, even with Elvin Kamara being out. You look at Mark, you look at Tony Jones, Dwayne. The rushing attack was Tampa Bay pretty much couldn't stop it. You know what I'm saying? And we kind of straight away from it during the game, but we have a very good running game even when Elvin Kamara isn't in play. So this team right now offensively is a run first team. And Jameis Winston excels at the play action. You know what I'm saying? So it looks like we've been kind of trying to force the issue on let's use these receivers, which we should use the receivers, but we still gotta play to the team strength right now. Um let's look at a few statistics. Let's look at the first drive. That's what I wanted to see. The first drive of the game is the Saints offense. Is it almost looks like kind of like with Drew Brees, right? Like, not trying to compare to Drew Brees, but just trying to, go off what we know from what we're seeing, which has been successful. We know Jameis Winston has a big arm, very talented arm, dude can make all the throws, but we also forgetting on what has made us successful throughout the years, death by a thousand cuts. You know what I'm saying? And it showed in the first drive. Um, we got the ball first, and the drive almost lasted 6 minutes. You know what I'm saying? 6 minutes, but it was fluid. It was first down, second down, first down, second down, first down. It wasn't until we got to the red zone as to where we had to play out a full 4 downs. You know what I'm saying? And within that first drive, it was we gave the ball to Mark 3 times, whether it was he rushed for like 12, but then Jameis threw it to him twice. He threw it to Tony Jones, I think, once or twice. And we were converting off second downs. You know what I'm saying? We had I think we had a second down conversion to Michael Thomas. You know what I'm saying? And you look at that drive, and immediately I was like, yo, this is going to be the key. This is going to be us throughout the year. This is what we need to do. That first drive of that game is what we need to do from here on out. And another little extra, I watched the Cleveland Browns versus Pittsburgh Steelers game. Anybody who watched that game, if you haven't, look at the highlights of that game. And that offense is what we need to mimic from how they played the Steelers. Straight up. Um, I'll just leave it like that. They dictated everything off the run game with Nick Chubb and Kareem Hunt. Nick Chubb had like 23 carries for 100 something yards and a touchdown, I believe. Kareem Hunt had 12 carries for like 47 yards, and Amari Cooper had like 7 catches for like 100 something yards and a touchdown. I'm pretty sure did he? Yeah, in a touchdown, and he just was utilizing Njoku, and it was pretty much short intermediate game with maybe one big play, like one big play. We got to remember we have a guy who has a cannon, But like, let that cannon use that cannon for like 1 or 2 times, maybe 1 or 2 times a game. You know what I'm saying? But we need to abuse our short and intermediate game. You know what I'm saying? And I know it kind of looked weird. We was like, man, the first half, even because I was even like this. The first half, man, wow, we should be scoring more points. We should be scoring more points. But we got to really realize that Tampa's defense is good. Like that defense is really good. And the more I think about it, the more I looked at it, and from how they played Dallas last week, they held Dallas to 3 points. You know what I'm saying? This was a defensive game. You look at Tom Brady, we know he's like the GOAT, right? As they say, he's a GOAT. But you look at his numbers this game, and and you look at Jameis' numbers, you take away, even all the way up into the fourth quarter, this game was dead nuts. It was like, you look at time of possession, you look at how many plays both of us ran. Like time of possession, Saints 29 minutes 42 seconds, Tampa 30 minutes 18 seconds. We ran fucking 66 plays, they ran 65 plays. This game was even all the way up into that bullshit that happened, that Tom Brady started, that Leonard Fournette and Mike Evans started, right? That got our freaking cornerback, number one cornerback, taking out the game, which caused Tom Brady to throw to that side and score on us. And it just hell broke loose from there. But even then, all the way through like the second half, like again, I know it didn't result in points, but you can tell we were getting a rhythm. The game was still in control. The defense held Tom Brady to 3 points all the way up into the third quarter. Yeah, I'm pretty sure that the third quarter or the fourth quarter. And Tom Brady is 18 for 34, 190 yards, 52 completion percentage, no picks or whatever. But that's not no spectacular game. That's like a average Joe game. You look at that, he didn't win that game. Them getting Marshawn Lattimore kicked out that game, and the turnovers killed us. We take away 2 of those turnovers, we in that game throughout the whole way. You know what I'm saying? So, it's just kind of like how Jameis said, he got to stay mellow through the madness. You know what I'm saying? He's one of my favorite guys on the team. And also, we find out before the game he has like messed up back. He has like 4 parts in his back, I believe, vertebrae or whatever. I can't think, but his back's kind of messed up. So, some of the throws were kind of a little bit off, but and then he had two third downs that he was right there that he should have ran for. You know what I'm saying? And he was sacked 6 times, but the offensive line played better than week 1, so some of those sacks was on him. So what we need to do to adjust for him to not get hit as much and for us to have more fluidity in this offense, we need to throw to the running backs more. We need to abuse the short and intermediate game. Tampa was taking away the intermediate game because we have receivers who do good in that. So it was 2 things. Either give us the short and the long, which in the long shots, which wasn't actually bad reads. It was just that Chris Olave and Jameis doesn't have that timing yet. So, it just didn't result into the results we wanted. But once they get that timing down, and again, Jameis fresh off of like his back kind of a little bit messed up, that's what kind of messed that up. But the reads wasn't bad. You know what I'm saying? Not necessarily all the way bad. Because the first one in the end zone, I think they got picked off. Jameis throws that ball a little bit more to the right. That's a Chris Olave touchdown. But anyway, we need to rely on the short game more to allow Jameis not to get hit as much. You know what I'm saying? I'm not seeing a lot of screen plays, and let's just read off the numbers. You know what I'm saying? And all right, Ingram had 10 rushes for 58 yards. He averaged damn near 6 yards a carry. Dwayne Washington, 4 rushes, 18 yards, 4.5 yards a carry. Taysom Hill, 3 rushes, 14 yards, 4.7 yards a carry. Tony Jones, 2 rushes, 8 yards, 4 yards a carry. Our rushing attack was very, very effective. They couldn't stop it, even with the Mark Ingram fumble. Like, we really should have still kept him in the game and still abused that. You know what I'm saying? So we need to do better with that. And another thing that killed us was like Chris Olave getting 13 targets. Love him, want him incorporated in the offense. But if you look at the numbers of Michael and Jarvis, there's no way that you need to be worrying about trying to facilitate Chris Olave to get 13 targets. Um, Michael targeted 6 times. 9 times in that game, 6 catches, 65 yards, a touchdown. He has 3 touchdowns throughout 2 weeks. Jarvis, 5 targets, 4 catches for 25 yards. These guys, if we're just focusing on the 1, 2, and 3, these guys are catching majority of their passes. Like let's look at the totals. From the first 2 weeks, Michael has 17 targets for 11 catches. He's catching 64% of his passes. Jarvis, 14 targets, 11 catches. He's catching 78% of his passes. Chris Olave, 16 targets, 8 catches. First week it was 3 for 3, and he had the 2-point conversion. But yesterday again, 13 targets, 5 catches for 80 yards. That's just not it, man. That's not winning football, forcing him the ball when you have 2 guys who are catching 64% and 78% of their passes. We need to be utilizing them more. And it's pretty much showed that, like, even with 2 or 3 guys on them, there's only one person on this offense right now who deserves double-digit receptions. Really kind of 2. But if you just want to talk about people who is just, like, unguardable, is in Michael Thomas's name. Can't guard Mike. This dude's catching... He caught that touchdown pass in between them 3 dudes where Jameis kind of, like, rocketed to him. And then he caught, like, this pass hanging off the sideline. You know what I'm saying? Toe drag, 2 feet tapped in. You know what I'm saying? That's unguardable. He's the one that we kind of have to abuse in that sense. Chris Olave, again, is a rookie, and that's going to get there. But from what I just read off to you, we don't need to be doing that. There's, again, Michael Thomas, I feel as if the only guy who I would justify getting forced the ball. Even with Jawan Johnson, 7 targets, 4 receptions, 40 yards. You know what I'm saying? We gotta do better in doing that. And I don't know, again, the play calling needs to dictate to where we need to throw closer to the line of scrimmage and let our playmakers make plays instead of going for them deep shots. You know what I'm saying? I don't know who that is. I don't know if it's on Pete. I don't know if it's on, Jameis. Again, really, the deep shots wasn't really bad because, he was open. It's just that chemistry. But if you see that chemistry is off and that y'all don't have it all there just yet, it's time to go back to what we do best. Again, the first quarter, we're throwing the running backs. You know what I'm saying? We running the ball. They couldn't stop us. I have literally nothing to say about the defense in critique-wise, but I'll get to, how, in week 1, where it looked like it was just, we were known for, not allowing 100-yard rushes, right? And then Cordell Patterson rushed for, 122 yards. Fucking Mariota had, 72 yards, right? But we all have established that it was because we were trying to play off of not letting Marcus Mariota get loose and was trying to play contain. And, and just in the process, Cordell Patterson got off. You look at Leonard Fournette. Leonard Fournette last week, the week 1 against the Cowboys, 21 rushes, 127 yards. He averaged 6 yards a carry. He demolished them. You know what I'm saying? He straight up demolished them. When we played him, 24 rushes for 65 yards. That sucker averaged 2.7 yards a carry. So we don't have to worry, people, who that nation, about the run defense. That's there. And another thing that kind of got me was man, we still kind of wasn't getting sacks on time. But Tom gets rid of that ball so fast, which is why I'm alluding to my point after this. Tom gets rid of the ball so fast. You're not going to sack him like that. You're just not. You know what I'm saying? Even with the best of the best pass rush. He gets rid of the ball way too fast, which we need to adopt that. We need to adopt. Jameis needs to watch that film and adopt that tactic of, and Pete Carmichael, realizing if you got a quarterback who's kind of hurt, and you got these playmakers are better, who's closer to the line of scrimmage and intermediate routes, and who can make plays, we need to be running more screen plays. We need to be throwing to the running backs more. i.e. Cleveland game. Jacoby Brissett throwing to the backs, throwing the Coop up close, throwing the Njoku, just letting them abuse it. Then these dudes are doing like 6-minute drives. Cleveland is going to be one of them teams, if they get up 2 scores, they're not going to be able to catch up to them because of the way they run the offense on running the ball. And I'm saying that because of the game that just happened. I like our offense. I like our players. I like our personnel. I'm saying it's a copycat league. And when you see somebody that has a strategy, we need to adopt that strategy. We don't need to have a strategy of forcing a rookie 13 targets. That's not gonna fly with me. That's not gonna fly with winning football. Um, Another thing that we can't have, which I go back to, we need to get the ball out faster, and we need to be running more plays where we letting our running backs and guys operate closer to the line of scrimmage, make plays. Um, Third downs, 4 for 13 this week, 30%. Last week, 4 for 13, 30%. We have a total of 26 third downs, and we've only converted 8. That's 30%. That's unacceptable. We're not winning no games. We're always going to be trailing. We cannot sustain drives doing that. That needs to change immediately. So we need to be focused on getting these first downs instead of the kill shots. I love the kill shots. I love we have a person who can execute and do the kill shot. But Pete Carmichael, I'm putting this on him. We need to be running more plays that's letting these guys until they show me that they can't do it. I mean, from what I've seen, we got the running game to do it. First drive of us versus Tampa is right there. Watch it. Look it up. Look how easy that was. We need to establish that. This game, 0 for 1 on 4th downs, us in Tampa. I mean, just look how close it was. Total yards, we had 308, they had 260. Passing, 208 for us, 188 for them. Look at this, 100 rushing yards for us, 72 for Tampa. We completely shut that shit down. 20 rushes for us, 30 rushes for them. They rushed the ball more than us, and we still ran the ball better than them. Sacks